nothing about the myth of Lazarus or Gibran's rendition of Lazarus is physical. Physically dead men do not come back to life. Never. No miracles ever happen in the domain of the physical. The physical world is governed by its own mundane, earthly, corporal principles that do not bend for anybody. The death that Lazarus so loves the beloved that he has been with, the resurrection of Jesus, and the 1,000 next crucifixions of Jesus, none of them are physical. It would be stupid to aim for physical death. Because physical death is so very guaranteed, so available, so inexorable, ultimately inevitable. Why crave for something that is anyway inevitable? Why crave for something that might actually be nearer to you than even your craving? Even as you are halfway through the expression of your craving for physical death, death may actually strike you without even allowing you to go the whole hog and complete your woeful expression of longing for death. So it would be stupid to ask for physical death. Great stories always all proceed through great symbols. But the way they are crafted is such that they work on both levels. Those who can get the subtle vibes, the fine print, the coded message, come to know of that which really, subtly is happening, and those who are incapable of reading between the words, beyond the words, also get something. They get some kind of a story, a legend, a myth, which is at least morally instructive. So if you are really observant and someone whose core resonates with the source of the story, then you will get a peace, a unity, a realization, a verification of sorts, which is, as the madman says, beyond the sundial and beyond the scales, beyond time and space. And if you are someone who cannot decipher the language of emptiness, the sound of silence, then you will at least get some kind of religious instruction. Either you will get truth, otherwise you will at least get a truism. Not a bad deal at all. With respect to Jesus, most of the world has what can be at best called a truism, not the truth. So Alok, your very question, why does Lazarus seem to be insisting on physical death, is invalid. Lazarus is not at all insisting on physical death. Only those insist on physical death who believe a lot in physicality. Does Lazarus appear that kind of fellow to you? Very fond of the body, very centered on the body. All the time he is talking of a strange beloved, a beloved in the hills, a beloved beyond the years, a beloved beyond space. Alok, have you really found Lazarus anywhere attached to the physicality of the beloved? And is that not a clear indicator? If you were someone too given to physics, then first of all, your beloved would be physical to you. Is there any indication in the entire text? Does Gibran ever tell you through Lazarus that his beloved is somebody physical? The most that you can make out is the gender. He says she. But even that seems to be a linguistic compulsion. Had language afforded Gibran the choice to describe the beloved in a gender neutral way, I assure you, Gibran would have gladly taken it. It is another death. Mary says to Lazarus, you are but 3 days away from us, 3 short days. Lazarus says, 3 days, 3 centuries, 3 aeons, all of time with the one my soul loved before time began. That kind of a death, Alok. Death, which means unity with the one you were with before time began. Obviously, a falling apart and decaying of the body would not give you unity with the one you were with before time began. It is also different across the valley. There is no weight there and there is no measure. You are with your beloved. That kind of death, Alok. It is also different across the valley. Lazarus had escaped away to the hills, right? It is also different across the valley. There is no weight there and there is no measure. You are with your beloved. Lazarus asks for some bread and some wine. And then when Mary tells him that mother has prepared the evening meal, Lazarus says, did I say I was hungry and thirsty? I am not hungry for your bread, nor thirsty for your wine. The madman says he asks for bread which they cannot bake, and wine for which they have no bottles. That is the death that he is asking for. His death is rather his presence in a land where they have bread which the ordinary mortals cannot eat, and wine which cannot be stored in bottles. And this one makes even clearer what the conception of Lazarus of death is. And yesterday I was weary of you and of lives, and I sought the other world which you call death. And if I had died, it was out of longing. Now I stand here at this moment, rebelling against that which you call life. The death that Lazarus is seeking is a rebellion against that which the likes of Martha and his mother call as life. Was Lazarus really dead before Jesus brought him back? What does Lazarus say? Listen to him. He says, it was my mother's sorrow and my sister's sorrow that compelled Jesus to bring me back. It was pity, self-pity that brought me back. How selfish is self-pity and how deep. I say that I rebel against life that includes pity and such things. You wanted a son and a brother to be with you through life. He's telling Mary, Martha, mother, you wanted a son, you wanted a brother who could physically be with you through life. And your neighbors, they were all craving for a miracle. Your neighbors wanted a miracle. This is what you all wanted. Neighbors were eager to be entertained and convinced through a miracle. And the family members wanted a boy, a man, to accompany them in the family. You and your neighbors, like your fathers and your forefathers, would have a miracle that you may believe in the simplest things in life. He's saying you all are such idiots that you cannot believe even in the simplest thing in life, which is the simple, straightforward truth. And to believe in that, what you demand is a miracle. So Jesus gave that miracle to you. Whereas that miracle was totally unnecessary. It was not a miracle at all. How cruel you are and how hard are your hearts and how dark is the night of your eyes. For that you bring down the prophets from their glory to your joys, and then you kill the prophets. You make the prophets do such mean things as miracles for your own happiness, for the sake of your own silly conviction. You turn Jesus into a miracle man, into someone who is a vendor of impossibilities. And you pull the prophets down to your level and you make them perform absurdities as these. And then you kill the prophets. Because that's the next round of entertainment that you want. First of all, you cannot see the miracle that the prophet himself truly is. So foolish are you. The miracle is there, of course. Where is the miracle? Jesus is himself the miracle. But that you cannot see, because if you see who Jesus is, you cannot remain who you are. So when Jesus comes to you and talks of things beyond, then you challenge him to identify himself, to prove himself, to certify himself by showing you a few miracles. And for your sake, The prophet indeed serves you with miracles, and of course you are too eager to take those miracles. You take them and swallow them hot. And obviously when you are so eager that miracles must happen, miracles do happen. The world is but your own projection. If you are craving for a miracle, it would not at all be difficult for a miracle to happen. And it does happen. And when it happens, then you say, wow, this chap is nice. This chap is so nice that he can be nicely executed. Let's take him to the cross. One of the reasons why Jesus was hanged on the cross was that his popularity was growing greatly, in part due to these miracles. So you make him perform absurdities and then you kill him because he is into absurdities. Are you getting it? Lazarus is making it amply clear here. The raising of Lazarus, the rebirth of Lazarus is not a miracle at all. There is only one miracle. Man realizing that he is Son of God. It happened with Jesus, it is waiting to happen with everybody. But to that miracle we are adamantly resistant. Won't let that happen. So we ask for childish fare. Bring to life a dead mouse, and then we'll believe that you are a real teacher. Cure the lepers. Walk on water. That woman is paralyzed. Make her climb a tree. This is the kind of infantile engagement that you want even with a prophet. And the prophet has often no option but to satisfy you by your own conditions. You make him dance to your tunes. And his compassion, he indeed does dance. And when you discover that despite dancing on your ugly tunes, his dance still has a beauty, you kill him for being beautiful. What did Jesus actually do to Lazarus? Lazarus says, he did not give me life, he gave you my life. Lazarus is a meditator. He had escaped away to the nether worlds. To the galaxies of the beyond. Physically, obviously, he was in this world. Physically, nobody can go anywhere. Even when you die, you still remain in this world. Your flesh, your bones all go back to the soil. Even death cannot liberate you from this world as far as the body is concerned. So it is absolutely stupid to think that death will give you liberation of some kind. What do you think? When you will die, your ashes will be free of the laws of physics? Not at all, sir. Take a man alive and take a man dead and throw them both down from a 10-story building. And I assure you, they both will hit the ground at the same time, with the same velocity and with the same impact. Life and death are immaterial to physicality. He took my life from my own beloved and gave it to you. A miracle to open your eyes and your ears. It was a calculated miracle. It was an organized miracle. It was a purposeful miracle. And what was the miracle? The meditator who had really escaped away was brought back to the mother and the sister and the world. This man's personal world had taken him as good as dead. Do you still not see? When the son of a house starts living and behaving against the wishes of the parents and the community, they do not take much time in declaring him dead for them. This is the sense in which Lazarus had died. Please understand. This is the sense in which Lazarus was a dead man. To whom was he dead? To the family and the community and the neighborhood and the world was he dead. He was not physically dead. Please. So the world had given upon him, declaring him dead and gone. I'm asking you, don't you see this happening even today? A young son, a young daughter, and they start rebelling and they start going against the wishes of the parents. And the parents try for a while. And when they find that the matters are beyond their control now, that the kid is a goner, that the case is now irretrievable, what do they just declare? I declare him dead for me. Right? You can almost see the patriarch getting up and declaring to the rest of the family, she is dead for all of us. I do not have 3 offsprings anymore. I have only 2. She is gone. He is gone. In fact, you may now wipe out even all the memories from the house. Remove that photograph. And today onwards, nobody is going to talk of him. That is the sense. That is the context in which Lazarus was dead. So Lazarus is gone. He's gone just as you find him gone away to the hills for 3 days. And when you tell him that he was away only for 3 days, he was, no, not for 3 days. I was there since 1,000 years. That's my real home. They tell him, but we are your mother and sisters. And Lazarus says, no. My mother is the one, my sister is the one who understands what I am saying. Otherwise, what mother, what sister? You cannot understand a word of what I say. There is no way we are related. There is just no communication between us. And you are calling me your mother and you are calling me your sister. It is absolute crap. Very pithily he declares, my mother and my brothers and my sisters are those who hear my words. You do not hear what I say. Incommunicado are we. So what kind of brothers and what kind of sisters? Forget it. In that sense, Lazarus was dead. Relationships had all been severed. And then Jesus comes over to this village. And he finds the family in gloom, despairing, beating their chests. And what do they tell Jesus? Listen, you, the one from Nazareth, you are the one who is spreading the message of truth and meditativeness. And you are the one who is especially gathering a young following. And all the young men and women of this land were so very normal and confirming till you came. And now that you have come, see what kind of strange and saddening things are happening. My son left the house. He is dead for us. And Jesus was moved. And Jesus was moved. So Jesus goes to Lazarus, holds him by the arm, and tells him, you have to go back to your family. Your time has not yet come. You have to go back to your family. And Lazarus must have resisted. He must have really cried hard. And he would have said, Master, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? I am but abiding by your own message. You are the one who said that God is the Father. If God is the Father, to which family are you sending me back? If God is the Father, then the only real family that I may have is His family. I listened to but what you said. And now that I am enjoying the bliss of solitude, now that I am enjoying the joys of this holy separation, now that I am one with the hills and the trees and the valleys and the winds, you are bidding me to return? That's extremely unjust. And that theme you find running through this short play. Lazarus is sore with Jesus. And he repeatedly says, this is just not fine, sir. You chose death for yourself. And you denied me death. This is not at all fair. That is before the news of the resurrection of Christ comes over. Lazarus says that you chose death for yourself, right? You died on the cross. And if you chose to die on the cross, why did you bring me back from death? Lazarus is clearly seeing this as unjust. This is what is happening, Alok. So Jesus, in his compassion for ordinary mortals, and these women, they are crying hoarse. They have caught Jesus and they won't let him go. And they are telling him, you bring us our son back. Because we very well know that it is under your influence that he has escaped away. He used to be our docile little kid. Lazy. And then your message corrupted him. Otherwise, we knew that he was a bit eccentric since childhood. We knew that he was a bit off-center. We knew that he felt as if he didn't quite belong. But still, he was fairly well adjusted. He appeared to be coming from somewhere else, but we had acclimatized him. And so, he was chugging along nicely. Sometimes he made a few queer noises, but that is okay. We three women would console him and prevail upon him. And that fit of madness would pass away. You are the one who stoked his fire. You are the one who exacerbated his condition. And now you will be the one who will bring him back for us. And Alok, this has been happening always. When parents can't prevail on their kids, when parents have lost the conversation, the argument with their kids, then they play this clever trick. They go directly to the prophet and they catch hold of him and they say, look at me. I am an old man and I am facing so much of trouble. Because of whom? Because of you. Look at my tears. Look at my beard. And in this family, there are just these three women. And to add to the misery, that madman. So you, scoundrel from Nazareth, see what you have done to this family. We had but one breadwinner. We had but one male. We had but one pair of young, capable, masculine hands. And you drove him away. It's all your doing. And Jesus would have certainly tried to explain to them what, truth and meditativeness are all about. But the ladies are the ladies. Don't accuse me of misogyny. It's Gibran who has invested that house with nothing but females. It's not me who has done that. Is it a sheer coincidence that you find that house having 3 women? No, it's not a coincidence. And it's not misogyny either. The quality of attachment is found a little more in abundance in the softer gender. What to do? Prakriti. So these three, and you can read how they are. Are now bugging Jesus and nagging him, and the lights are almost going out of Jesus. It's almost like crucifixion preponed. So he says, okay, please leave me. Your son will be back. So even when Lazarus protests and tells Jesus, I don't want to go back, there is no way Jesus can allow him. Jesus says, you have to. For your personal spiritual joy, I cannot allow you to spoil my broader mission. You go back to your house so that I can continue with the work across the land of Jerusalem. The entire Israel is waiting. I have no space, no time to get caught in the affairs of one particular family. You go back. And surely Jesus would have told him to continue with the meditation even while remaining in the house. So you would have said, you go back and you take care of your duties and responsibilities, and you see how poor your household is. From the play you obviously get to see that these are not rich people. So he says, you go back and... So that's the death alok that is being talked of. Meditation is a great death. That is the death to which Lazarus had ascended. And when Jesus brings him back to the family, that is the life that he so very abhors. He says, I don't want to go back to these people. And had it been anybody but Jesus, obviously you know that Lazarus would have absolutely refused. Lazarus would have said, no way, kill me if you want to, but I'm not returning to that place. Are you getting it? These are also the words of Jesus. My mother and my brothers and my sisters are those who hear my words. And then Lazarus says, he said these words for me as well as for himself, and for all those who have the earth for mother, the sky for father, and for all those who are born free of a people and a country and a race. Are you getting it? So Jesus is addressing everybody. He's saying there is no need to be identified with a country or a race, or to people you are associated through the body. The earth is your mother, the sky is your father, and there is no need to identify yourself with a community, a race, or a country. Do you get this, Alok? The meaning of the death and life of Lazarus? Who is the beloved then of Lazarus? Who is the beloved? That great meditative peace is the beloved. It's that Lazarus is so fondly remembering, reminiscing, craving, longing for. Get it? Is the whole piece now clear? To the beloved he says, oh my beloved, this life, this wheel is between us now. Which life? The life in the family, in the house. This life is now the wheel between us. So he's addressing the beloved and saying, oh beloved, I'm missing you so badly. And what's it between us? This life, these walls. And I was away and happy. And see what has been done to me. And he's really upset with Jesus. But then he says, oh, I cannot curse him. I cannot curse him. But still I want to ask him, of all the men, why should only I return? Why should I, of all shepherds, be driven back into the desert after the green pasture? I escaped into the green pasture, and not only did I escape, it was you, Jesus, who showed me that green pastures are possible. Your very being is a proof of greenness. You showed me that those pastures are indeed a reality. And when I went there, what is it that you did? You brought me back. How do I forgive you? But then he says, oh, I can't curse you either. Jesus of Nazareth, tell me now, why did you do this to me? Can you relate to this now? Why did you do this to me? And then he reveals something more. Read or listen carefully. Lazarus says to Jesus, was it fair that I should be laid down, a humble, lowly, sorrowful stone leading to the height of your glory? You got glory. And how did you get glory?
By stepping on me.
How did he step in? How did Jesus step on Lazarus?
By getting him back.
By performing a miracle in the eyes of the commoners. So Jesus gets glory. Oh, Jesus the divine. He touched a dead man and the dead man came back to life. So Jesus gets glory. And Lazarus gets that same sorrowful life again. That sorrowful life in which he is constantly being bugged by.
Family.
Of all the three women, probably Mary gets him a bit. But see what Martha is doing to him. See what mother is doing to him. And then Lazarus says to Jesus, any one of the dead might have served to glorify you. There are so many people dead. Why couldn't you touch any one of them? You would have received equal glory. But why was I especially chosen for this punishment? What had I done? Why have you separated this lover from his beloved? Who is the lover, Alok, and who is the beloved? The mind of Lazarus is the lover, and peace is the beloved. Clear? Why did you call me to a world which you knew in your heart you would leave? Jesus, you knew very well that even you would leave this world. Then why did you bring me back? And what is meant when it is said that Jesus too would leave this world? Jesus was not going to stay in that area for long. Do you hear of Jesus after his resurrection? And he is a young man, but having done what he could, having played out the part, having delivered the message in the most dramatic, emphatic way possible, Jesus disappears, never to be seen or heard again. Those who talk the language of needless miracles say that Jesus had an ascension to heaven. Nothing of that sort. Just as Lazarus quits his home to go away to the hills, Jesus too quit that district to go away to some other hills somewhere, we will never know where. Jesus too knew that he was not going to stay with those people for long. He had a spiritual obligation upon himself to spread the message of truth, and that he did. That he did till the age of 31 or 32 or 35. We are not sure. And then when he saw that his work was complete, and then when he saw that the drama had entered its last act, the last scene, there was no way he could practically continue with the people. Because after all, the people had given him death. How can a dead man teach? He could have continued teaching for maybe a while longer had he been allowed to stay alive. But the people of their own accord had given him death. So the drama had to come to an end. Just as Lazarus went away from his home, Jesus too went away from that place. Never to be mentioned again. Never to be seen again. Lazarus went to his beloved. Jesus too escaped away to his own beloved. Why did you, Jesus, call me to a world which you knew in your heart you would leave? And then crying with a great voice. Why did you call me from the living heart of eternity to this living death? What is this living death? It's a strong indictment. It's a strong indictment of man's society. It's a strong indictment of man's intellect. It's a strong indictment, Alok, of the way we are. Forget all the mystical references to the beyond and this and that, and the glories of heaven and resurrection and the rising of the dead, and forget all those things. Concentrate on the immediate reality, and the immediate reality is that Lazarus, in the most emphatic ways, in most unambiguous ways, is cursing life as we live it. He's telling Jesus, I was alive in the hills. And what is he doing on the hills? Obviously, he is following what we in India know as the traditions of the sadhaks, the yogis. Is that not an all too familiar story? The fellow gets totally disillusioned, disgruntled, and then he runs away to the Himalayas. And he is very, very serene and calm and blissful there. And then he is pulled back. Are you getting it? That's the story. And when he comes back, the old setting is even more intolerable. Why? Because now he has something as a foil to compare it with. The hills are the foil on which this old painting appears even more gruesome. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth, I cannot curse you. He is obviously cursing a lot. But you see, you cannot avoid cursing when such a thing is made to happen to you. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth, I cannot curse you. And then he repeats as if to convince himself, I cannot curse you. Nothing but morality. I cannot curse you. And then, chewing his own words, he says, I would bless you. I would bless you. And the moment he says, I would bless you, Lazarus becomes as one whose strength has gone out in a stream. That's the most difficult thing to do. That's the most energy-sapping thing to do, to bless Jesus. Jesus who? Who brought me back to this living hell. Jesus of Nazareth, my friend, we have both been crucified, and be very attentive when you hear this. Forgive me, I bless you now and forevermore. The line that I was looking for was that you have been crucified by death and I have been crucified by life.
My mother and my sisters, I shall follow him who gave me life until he gives me death. Yes, I too would be crucified, and that crucifixion will end this crucifixion. It's all dramatic symbolism. You must be able to see through the tropes. Are you getting it? What is the current crucifixion he's talking of?
This family life.
This family life. He says this is one crucifixion that I am willing to pay any price to get rid of. He says that crucifixion. What kind of crucifixion? That which Jesus got. That crucifixion will at least end this crucifixion. So, having heard that Jesus has sprung back to life, he rushes again towards Jesus. And what does he want? He says, now if you will be crucified, I too shall be crucified. And that will end this crucifixion. It's a stunning commentary, Alok, on our means of production, on our community life, on our religions, our ideals, our relationships, on the very stuff of our minds. It is not about Jesus, it is not about Lazarus. It is about how the way we live makes spirituality impossible for us, and how a seeker of the spiritual truth is persecuted, abandoned, chased, and pulled back by the very same people he seeks so desperately to get away from. On one hand, they will abandon you and persecute you. And when you go away, they won't let you be away. They'll pull you back. They'll pull you back only to make you go through the worst rigors. Call it a social play rather than a spiritual play. What spirituality? Spirituality is all about looking honestly at the way we are living, right? That's the takeaway from this text. Look honestly at the way we are living. And you have asked another question. Your second question is, who is the madman? He surely is not someone physical. Is he the universal spirit? You are too fond of mysteries, Alok, right? Universal spirit, huh? Is it coming from the Trinity? The Father is evident, the Son is evident, so you find it necessary to talk of the Holy Ghost as well. No. In the madman's own words, you will gain clarity. The madman says, this is the introduction as well as the whole story of the madman. Madman says, referring to Jesus, he bade me also to come back, but I did not obey, and now they call me mad. He bade me also to come back, but I did not obey, and now they call me mad. So just as Lazarus had fled to the ravines, madman too is someone who has escaped away and into his inner sanctuaries. What is then the difference between Lazarus and the madman? Lazarus was compelled to come back and talk in sane ways, in the language of the society, to the same people again. The madman really never regained worldly sanity. He remains very, very sane in the heart, and he abides there, and he refuses to don worldly sanity. And therefore he is termed a madman. That's what the madman is. Right? No universal spirit or anything. The madman is one amongst the many figures you come across around you. Alok, Lazarus exists within you, the madman exists within you. Of course, there is a bit of Jesus too within you. And not to mention, Mary, Martha and the mother are very prominently inside you. All these characters are but us. No spirits or ecclesiastical characters. Are you getting it? Who is the madman? He bade me also to come back, but I did not obey, and now they call me mad. Simple. I remain where I am. I remain at the same place to which Lazarus had fled. I remain at the same place which Jesus calls as his Father's heaven. I remain at the same place which Kabir Sahab calls it as Satlok. Have you not seen? Kabir Sahab repeatedly keeps talking of some other country. Satlok, 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 Amarpur. That's where the madman lives. Physically he is in front of these people. Actually he is living there. And that is why you find a curious thing happening in the play. The madman keeps speaking and nobody listens to him. Nobody ever notices him, nobody ever responds to him. There is no conversation happening between the madman and the world. Why is no conversation happening? Because the madman is really not in the world. The world is unable to perceive him. The madman is there. There. That's the madman. All these are levels of consciousness, Alok. At which level do you want to be? In a previous session, we had talked of the 100-story building. Had we not? At the lowest level of consciousness are these family members, especially mother and Martha. A little above them is Mary. And then there are the dwellers of the hills. The hill, mind you, is not a physical place. The hill is a state of mind, a state of consciousness. The hill is the state of mind that has peace as its center. Then there is the madman who is living in this world but is committed to that world. Then there is Lazarus who has been compelled to come back. And higher than Lazarus who has been compelled to come back is the Lazarus who would not come back. What happens at the end of the play? Lazarus just sneaks out and these people keep yelling from behind. He refuses to respond. He's out, gone and away. Then higher than even Lazarus of the hills is Jesus. And then there is what you would call as the Almighty, Father of Jesus, or pure awareness.